inspection mode, proxy and flow based. FortiOS supports flow based and proxy based inspection in firewall policies. You can select the inspection mode when configuring a policy, right? So flow based or proxy based selection can be made at the time of creating firewall security policy. Okay, so we see like mode very similar to this, flow based and proxy based. Default selection is flow based, but we can change from flow based to proxy based. So let's first understand what is difference between both flow based and proxy based. So let me quickly open my dashboard and explain both flow and proxy based, and then I will show you like from where we can enable or from where we can change, and the use cases when we should enable proxy based, right? When a firewall policy inspection mode is set to flow, traffic passing through the firewall will not be buffered, right? Means real time inspection, no file proxying, no buffering, real time inspection. Okay, and that's the reason like this flow based inspection requires lower processing resources, than like proxy based inspection, right? Because in proxy based inspection, file proxying is done, buffering is done. So by default in FortiGate Firewall, default inspection mode is flow based, real time inspection, no file proxying, right? Data just passing through the firewall and inspected in the real time. And when inspection mode is proxy based, right, means a firewall policy inspection mode is set to proxy, traffic flowing through the firewall will be buffered by the firewall for inspection. This means that a packet for a file, email message or web page will be held by the FortiGate unit, right, until the entire payload is inspected for violations like virus, spam, or maybe malicious or web links. And after FortiOS finishes the inspection, the payload is either released to the destination if the traffic is clean, of course, or dropped and replaced with a replacement message, right? So proxy based inspection mode requires like a lot of processing resources, right? So performance wise, proxy based is not as good as flow based. For security wise, yes, proxy based inspection mode is good, right? And it's one of the criteria wherein like we choose like whether we want to go with the proxy based or flow based. So if really we are very much concerned with the performance of the device, so only we prefer to go with the flow based, and flow based is the default inspection mode in FortiGate, right? Default inspection mode. Proxy based mode is not the default mode in fact, but there are certain UTM profiles, and they are proxy based, right? Means one of the profile is like video filter security profile. So if you want to use video filter security profile, then inspection mode strictly should be proxy based, right? In flow based you cannot attach, associate video filter security profile, or maybe inline cloud access security broker, web application firewall is another like configuration that require like proxy based inspection, right? So like mandatory, I mean like you would have to keep like proxy based inspection, not flow based inspection. Okay, and another important like point I must mention here like is in like latest FortiOS version, that is 7.4.4, proxy related features no longer support it if like FortiGate has 2 gig of RAM. So any model like with the 2 gig of RAM and FortiOS 7.4.4, you will not see inspection mode, right? So whenever we create firewall security policy, we don't find two different modes like flow based and proxy based. Means proxy based mode is not supported, and that is why we don't find like both modes like when we create firewall policy, right? So it's as a part of improvement to enhance performance and optimize memory uses on like these FortiGate models, like with 2 gig of RAM or maybe less, right? So don't get surprised if you don't see like flow based and proxy based inspection option when creating firewall policy. So don't be surprised, right? It's one of the limitation recently introduced by FortiGate Firewall. So if you are running FortiOS version 7.4.4 and your FortiGate appliance has 2 gig of RAM or less than 2 gig of RAM, then proxy based features are not supported, right? And that is why we don't see like flow based and proxy based inspection options. So this may impact your lower version devices like lower models like 40F, even 60F, 60E, even 80E or 90E. So you will not find like proxy based inspection on these models, and I'm going to show you like let me show you rather. So here like I have operating system version 7 dot, and of course RAM is 2 gig, right? RAM is 2 gig and it's running 7.4.4 version. So now if I go to policy and the object, firewall policy, create new firewall policy. So on this page we don't see inspection mode option, right? Why? Because inspection mode or proxy based inspection is no more supported on FortiGate firewalls with 2 gig or less than 2 gig of RAM. We don't see here, right? It's running 7.4.4. There is another FortiGate firewall with low version like 7.0.5, and here like if I go to firewall security policy, just to show you firewall policy, create new, right? On this page you see like option to enable and disable, where it has gone. Here we have inspection mode, flow based is by default selected, and we do have proxy based, right? And if you look at the security profiles, then here like on the page you don't see video filter profile. So inspection mode is proxy based, and now if you look at security profiles, so here we find video filter security profile. Now we can associate or attach video filter profile with the policy, right? Makes sense? So now we do not have choice, right? In order to use video filter security profile, inspection mode strictly should be proxy mode. You do not have choice, and there are certain other UTM features also. And if you look at feature visibility options, so on this page we find like web application firewall or load balancer, ADC, right? So where is, and here like we have this load balancer option, and where is web application firewall? Here we have web application filter firewall, right? This one. So in order to use WAF or maybe CASB, in fact inspection mode should be proxy based. And why it is so? Because proxy means like load balancer means reverse proxy device, right? Reverse proxy device means two independent layer 4 connections are created. One connection between the client and the load balancer or WAF. WAF also acts like and WAF also provides basic load balancing feature even. So if here like there is a device in the middle, right, and LAN side maybe 2 or 3 servers, web servers and internet client. So what happens when we put in here like load balancer and plus web application firewall in the middle of communication stream? So here like the mode is proxy mode, reverse proxy rather I would say. It's not package based design, right? Means two layer 4 connections are created. So client connection is completely terminated to the device, right? Three-way handshake here, and then parallelly another three-way handshake with the selected pool member, because in load balancer one of the server is selected based on the load balancing method that we configure. So layer 4 negotiation is done with that selected pool member. So one layer 4 connection here means three messages, TCP three-way handshake, another TCP three-way handshake, right? Connection is completely terminated. So of course you understand this type of architecture means proxy mode or proxy based architecture. So if we want to use like certain UTM profiles or features in FortiGate firewall, the inspection mode should be proxy based. But if you are using FortiOS 7.4.4 or 7.4 version, I mean, and RAM is less than 2 gig of RAM, then of course we cannot use proxy based inspection mode, and that is why proxy based profiles are not available there. So if you search for video filter profiles, so probably you will not find under security profile section. Makes sense? So I hope you understand the difference between both flow based and proxy based. So in flow based what happens, real time inspection is done, right? Traffic is passing through the device and inspection is done. No file proxying, file is not proxied, not buffered. Whereas in proxy based there is file proxy, file is buffered, data traffic is buffered, and then a deep packet inspection is done. So security wise proxy based is very good because there is very less chance of like false positive, because very deeply data is scanned or examined, but at the cost of the performance. Performance wise, yes, you will see like slight degradation in the performance of the device if you turn on proxy based inspection instead of flow based inspection. So that's like one of the difference like between flow based and proxy based. Let me quickly go through the rest of the slides. Alright, so flow based inspection is the default mode. As I said before, when a firewall policy inspection mode is set to flow, traffic flowing through the policy will not be buffered by the FortiGate firewall, correct, right? Flow based inspection identifies and blocks security threats in real time as they are identified and not be buffered. Real time analysis, right? In most of the firewalls we don't like find option to switch like between these two mode, right? Either like traditional legacy firewalls, they are like proxy based only, and some other firewalls they support only flow based inspection, real time analysis of data traffic, right? But as an administrator we don't find option to change inspection mode, default behavior. But at least in FortiGate firewall we as an administrator have option to make our selection whether we want to go with flow based or proxy based. Proxy based inspection, when a firewall inspection mode is set to proxy, traffic flowing through will be buffered by the FortiGate for inspection. True. Proxy mode provides most thorough inspection of the traffic. However, its thoroughness sacrifices performance, making its throughput slower than that of a flow mode policy. And here, like on this page, we can easily toggle between both flow based and proxy based. So choice between proxy and flow based depends on the specific requirements of the network, the nature of the traffic, and the desired level of inspection depth. Proxy mode is suitable for scenario requiring deep inspection of application layer protocols, while flow based mode is more efficient for high speed packet processing with lower latency, right?